here is a man who heard me years ago. He came home one day, and I thought, now here's a man teaching people how to live correctly. And I had two books. They're completely out of print. You can't buy them. But I thought, if I could give them to someone doing this kind of work, who is serious, he's a trained psychologist, I'll give them to him. So I gave him these books. I don't think he's read them. First of all, they're named after the mountains of Switzerland, Zermatt and Oberland. But it's all imagination. The man who wrote it, I presume he's gone now. He was 94 when I last heard from him. But I gave him these books. They were new and completely out of print. You can't get the books. You might find them in some second-hand, but they were never popular books because they were very voluminous books. But he wrote them in the form of a dialogue like a Plato. He introduced 5 characters, and each one was a scientist, one was a philosopher, one was a mystic, one was something else, and they all discussed. And he had the central one who was the mystic, explaining the phenomena and the cause of the phenomena of life. And so he wrote these volumes. And I gave them to him. I asked him the other night, because he's here for the second time in years. And he mentioned the way he told me about them. I don't really think he really read them with understanding or really read them, because it's told like a Plato would tell a story, introducing characters. Because the one person is speaking as the scientist, as the mystic, as the philosopher, as the atheist. He had them all present, only 5 characters. But the books are completely on imagination. And it's called the Zermatt dialogues and the Oberland dialogues. And I went down to the bookstore in Long Beach called Acres of Books looking for them. And old Mr. Smith, he's gone now. He was then in his 80s. And I was looking all over the philosophical department and the other departments. Oh, he said, you wouldn't find them there. You'll find them under Switzerland, the mountains. He didn't know the content of the book. Go over to the place and look under Switzerland. And there they were. So I found my 2 books. And I parted with him and I gave them to him in the hope that, because he is a psychologist, a trained one, that these were showing that causation is all imagination. That imagining creates reality. What am I imagining? So they came to him, the embodiment of imagination. And they said, but you haven't eaten. And they were concerned because he'd been left alone and he had not eaten. And he said, I have food you know not of. And the food is, what are you feeding your imagination morning, noon, and night?